Welcome to our journey of 1,000 pages. I am your host, Christina, here with Anty.
Hello, I am Anty, and this month we have unraveled the mysteries with Tana French's Into the Woods, or In the Woods. This should tell you a little bit of how we feel about the book. But it is the story of Detective Adam Ryan trying to solve the murder of a young girl while dealing with the trauma of his own past.
That is a wonderful soundbite right there.
Thank you. We chose mystery this month for no apparent reason, much like many of our choices.
It's a popular genre.
Sure.
That neither one of us read very much of.
Nope. And I couldn't tell you why it's popular, because mysteries are bad.
Right out the gate.
Right out the gate.
You don't like them.
No. You like mysteries, right, in general?
Yes, I don't read a lot of them, but I do like mystery shows on occasion. I am partial to British mysteries. I don't like murder of the week shows.
Sure.
I prefer either a, 8-part series where they're just dealing with one crime the whole time, or in the case of something like Endeavor, where there's 4 episodes in a season and each episode is 90 minutes long. So it's like 4 movies and all the character arcs of that season progress over the 4 episodes. It's a lot more cohesive and artistic.
Sure. I can't think of a single mystery that I like. That's not true. I like Knives Out.
Yes.
That's it.
But, okay, we talked about this a little bit. Basically, what it comes down to is you don't like police procedurals, which, to be fair, is what this book is.
Mm-hmm.
You like whodunits.
That is true, yes. I think part of it is, I know you and I have talked about this and like how we watch movies. When I know there's a mystery in a movie, my goal is to figure it out before the protagonist does. Every single time. I can't not.
And I am just along for the ride, and I am here to enjoy all the characters.
But the clues!
I don't care.
Listen, I grew up on Blue's Clues. I have a thinking chair and my handy dandy notebook, okay?
And you're ready.
I am ready.
The only time that I care about clues is when I'm playing Clue.
That was pretty good.
We looked up, like, what is you saying you like a whodunit? And I found a good definition. It's obviously a subgenre of mystery. Usually has some kind of complex puzzle where the objective is to identify the perpetrator of whatever the central crime is. There's a closed set of suspects. So it's not like, hey, anyone in this whole world could be the bad guy, like Knives Out, where it's like, hey, you're limited to just the people in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? They usually have an eccentric detective. And the settings are usually really secluded. Yeah,
very like Hercule Poirot. Who wrote those? Agatha Christie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those like we've said, Knives Out. I'm trying to think of another good whodunit. The game show Whodunit that lasted for like 1 season, I think.
The movie Clue.
The movie Clue. The game Clue.
Also the game Clue.
Blue's Clues. Back to the beginning, baby. Okay.
Versus police procedural is exactly what it sounds like. It's more realistic. It's going to have, it's going to walk you through all the details of the crime scene in all of its grisly detail. It's going to, again, proceed through what the police are doing step by step, which can get boring if that is not your shtick.
It's very list-based, which naturally comes apart with dealing with actual policemen and detectives.
Yeah.
You have to be very methodical and list-based with all of this. So the writing style and the narrative style is very much like he would write down a report, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't like it.
So mystery as a whole, because I was thinking about this last night, because you don't like mysteries in general at all. And I do. And I was like, okay, why do people like mysteries? And I was reading some different articles and trying to think for myself, like, what do I enjoy about this? And one concept that, I'm not going to lie, came straight from Reddit is the idea that mysteries are fairy tales for adults. Because you have the thrill and excitement of and the getting to see the dark side of the world, but you have safety in the sense that you're removed from it And also, you're witnessing something horrible or unsettling happening, but then everything is solved and concluded and wrapped up with a nice little bow. Theoretically, not every mystery is this way, but that's the idea of unlike the real world where horrible things happen and there isn't a nice, tidy conclusion in many cases, a mystery gives you that cathartic, okay, but the good guys solved it. The bad guy is behind bars. He got his comeuppance. And in that way, it functions as a kind of fairy tale for adults. So I thought that was interesting. The mythology of order and justice will always prevail. I have more, but you seem like you have a comment.
Yes, because that annoys me.
What?
That concept. It's like how we talked about last month, graphic novels versus comic books, how I hate the term graphic novels. I think that thinking of them as fairy tales for an adult is incredibly belittling to every other genre out there, when those genres honestly have better stories than 90% of these police procedurals. Because a lot of these police procedurals, if you've seen one episode of CSI, you've seen them all. And that line will come up in my review.
So I hear you. I think using the term fairy tales is not meant to be demeaning in any way. That comes from...
Yes, it is. I disagree with that. I think because of the amount of people in my life who have made fun of me and called me childish for being into science fiction and fantasy, that is how people see this. It's
yes.
I don't...
At large, yes. But I think it's the same people, those are the same people who don't see value in fairy tales at all. It's not seeing value in anything that's not grounded in reality, not realizing that fairy tales serve a very real function in childhood development. It is that whole thing. It's the same function. Fairy tales have things happen that would be terrifying to little kids, and then it wraps up nicely at the end, or not, depending on how far back you are going in the fairy tale. Some of those are really traumatic.
It's fine.
But it's a story. There's something with that with horror sometimes as well. It's that whole thrill, but I'm currently safe. It's
sure.
I get to peek into something that is taboo or really dark or terrifying, but no, you're okay. I'm okay. I got to witness that, but I'm still cool. And that's really important when kids are growing up, to just gain confidence and learn to regulate their emotions. That's one of the purposes of fairy tales. And so they're saying they're comparing it to that.
Sure.
That mysteries serve a similar function for adults. Again, feed into that mythology that you don't always witness in real life, where justice doesn't always prevail in real life, or you don't necessarily get that, okay, and this is how these people ended up, because our lives are not a serialized story.
Mine is.
Okay.
I'm Truman showing this bit.
So there's that aspect. And like I said, there's the whole delving into the dark side.
That's the exact reason, like I've said before, why I'm into things like Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and a lot of those stuff. Because they do, like you said, delve into the darker side of things, but allow me as the audience to be like, no, I'm safe.
And then obviously you have the whole, you're experiencing a different world and experiencing people in a different place, time, job, whatever. That's one of the things I think is most interesting to me, is I like going different places and experiencing different worlds. And for me, I consider historical fiction to also be transporting me to a different world. Absolutely. I know it's not your favorite, but I equate that in the same way as me visiting a different planet or a different fantasy realm, me visiting early 2000s Ireland. That's a totally different world. Yeah. I'm not there.
What?
No, I've never been there.
So we should probably hop into the plot and the characters and all that. Just to give a brief rundown of the plot, as I said, this is about Adam Ryan. He is a detective for whatever the police force is called in Ireland, that one. Yes. And he gets sent on or is given a case for a 12-year-old girl who is murdered in the small town of Knocknarea.
Which is where he grew up.
Yes. Early on in the book, it's established that when he was a child, he went off into these woods and came back with his shoes full of blood, and his friends were nowhere to be found. So he is on a case that he shouldn't be on because he is directly related to this case. Well,
Or could be.
Yeah.
There is a connection at least to the area, and the fact that you have another child who was not disappeared but murdered in the exact same area, the connection should at least be explored. Because it's only been 20 years. It could be a serial killer.
Absolutely.
You never know.
So Ryan is joined by two kind of supporting detectives. One is Cassie, who is his direct partner, the newest recruit to the murder department. Murder, homicide, whatever.
Murder squad.
So yeah, Cassie has joined him. She's helping him with this. They kind of grow closer. Well, I guess this assignment takes place like 3 years or something after they become partners.
So they're buddies. They've got a really good rhythm. They're work besties.
And then there's also Sam O'Neill, who is also a very new recruit to the murder squad, who joins them about halfway through the book. He's kind of their we need somebody to go do research guy, and then pop back into the scene when we need him.
Yes, and he's the rural, good, upstanding.
Very young. Like, he's that kind of shining new guy, naive and all that jazz. So we have Adam Ryan, who, as I understand it, has no personality whatsoever. That's not entirely true. I'm being harsh. We do see aspects of his personality as he's interacting with Cassie. Like, there is a bit of a rapport between them. There's some banter. But for the most part, he's just kind of generic detective guy. And if that's what you want out of your protagonist, that's great. Not to yuck anybody's yum. There was never a point in this book that I was rooting for him.
I did not feel strongly about him. I never hated him, liked him. I was just, this is the viewpoint that we have. It's fine.
Like I said, generic detective guy solving a mystery. And you'd think that, because your detective is generic, all these suspects and all of these characters would be unique and interesting in some way.
You were bored.
I was bored this entire book. I was waiting for something interesting to happen. There would be flashbacks randomly to his past and revealing things about his traumatic childhood.
I mean, that is part of the plot line. You're watching his character arc, which honestly kind of falls flat at the end, but his character arc is basically him having a nervous breakdown over the course of this book.
Yeah.
Because of the flashbacks to his childhood, remembering things but not remembering things, and trying to, once again, trying to piece it together and see if there's a connection and what actually happened and all of that. And he starts barely sleeping, drinking too much, not eating, hallucinating, like the whole 9 yards.
As happens in these books.
Yeah.
You have your grizzled detective who becomes more grizzled throughout the book. There's also, the harsh police chief guy who's breathing down their necks the whole time.
And is like misogynistic, but then also not. Like, he doesn't like Cassie being there.
No.
Because she's a woman and she went to college and has these like fancy psychology ideas.
Women don't belong in college.
Yeah.
They belong in the... Please bleep this out.
But at the same point, he also supports Cassie's decisions out of sense of loyalty to like the squad.
Which I do appreciate.
I do appreciate that. I think it's an interesting dynamic that is probably not that unrealistic for the time period.
I don't think that's unrealistic in a lot of situations where you will have the boss who is hard on you and breathing down your neck, but they will absolutely jump up and have your ass if you need it.
Then there's a whole bunch of like random little supporting characters, both from Detective Ryan's past and then that are getting reintroduced because of the new case. It's your expected character cast in a police procedural.
And that's part of the problem to me, is it's all so expected.
You know what you're getting into.
I know. And I think we should probably go ahead and do ratings. To preface, we're going to go ahead and give our ratings. And then after that, we're going to kind of get into spoiler country. We're going to be talking about the ending of the book and a lot of that stuff, because it's the ending of a mystery. That 100% is going to influence how you feel about the book.
Yeah.
It's the main point of it. It is building up to that climax. Not that every book isn't, but I feel like you know what I mean.
With a mystery, it feels even more.
Yeah.
That payoff of, okay, you've given us all the clues, you've set up all the things, you've given us the mystery, here we are. What is the big reveal of who done it?
That's the fun of them. That is the fun part of mysteries. So, do you want to give your rating first?
Okay. I've been struggling with this because, again, you won't let me do half points.
No.
So
there's no point in half points.
I will say, when I first started this book, I was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. I have read another book by this author, and I loved that one. Also set in Ireland, also a detective story. It was great. So I was thinking it would be in the same vein and be a solid 4-star novel. And then I got to the end of the book. I have been torn between giving this 2 and 3 stars ever since last night when I finished this book.
You aren't supposed to tell them we do that.
In terms of the conclusion, I want to give it 2. I will bump it up to 3 stars because I thought the author had pretty good writing and I enjoyed her descriptions, both for the characters and all of their little philosophical meanderings. I thought she was pretty good at setting a scene and all of that. So I will bump it up and say 3 stars for In the Woods.
Fair. I am not giving it that high. Well, I will say, with the writing style, there are some descriptions that I really appreciated. Like, the very first description of Adam Ryan is basically him saying, listen, I'm pretty sure I only got this job because I look like a murder detective. And like, I appreciate a character who is self-aware like that. That did get me on his side, despite him, like, then having no personality. Yeah, it's a basic mystery. Like I said, if you've seen one episode of CSI, you have read this book. So I give it 1 star.
Hard.
I know it'd be 2 if I didn't dislike mysteries, but I have opinions.
And the conclusion really influences those opinions.
Yes, it does. So we're going to be talking about the ending. This is spoilers. If you care, skip ahead. If not, great. Do you want to go first?
My biggest complaint, we'll just start there.
Sure.
My biggest complaint is that the B-plot mystery is never solved, and that is what happened to childhood Adam Ryan in the Knocknary Woods. What happened to his friends that disappeared and were never seen again? We don't know.
Never told. Not a single time. Not even hinted at it.
It's just done. It's never answered. And here's the thing. I recognize that happens in real life, that there are people who go missing and that is never solved. And it is just the subject of true crime podcasts later on. That is not what I want when I am reading or watching a mystery. Mm-hmm. I want to know what happened.
We have had all this buildup and no payoff.
Especially because you've been talking about how for most of the book, like, oh, are the cases connected? Oh, are they connected? Okay, cool. You find out they're not connected. I still want to know what happens because it's that resolution.
Absolutely.
Tie the nice, tidy bow.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Not at all. Couldn't have that. And part of the problem is that's not the only B plot that gets forgot. There's this whole plot where Sam, who basically got on the detective squad because his uncle is a huge politician. There's this thing where there's a road being built and money's being changed hands and it's kind of scummy. And Sam's uncle is involved and then they never mention it again.
Well, the police chief tells him to drop it or he's basically going to lose his job. Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of it. There's a slight mention of it again at the end where Sam is trying to, I guess, struggle with that and like
the advantages that has given him.
Yes, so he's working through what that looks like in his life, but we don't really get to dig into that beyond the fact that he sells/rents out the house that his uncle had gotten for him and moves to like a crappy apartment somewhere. That's about it.
And then the killer admits it. He's just some random guy that they didn't even interview at the beginning of the book. Like, he's involved with one of the other suspects and that's it.
They did interview him at the beginning.
Did they?
Yeah, he was one of the many college student-esque.
Oh, sure.
He didn't make any kind of impression because there were other ones that made more of an impression at the time.
Sure. Was he the second one?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he was the first.
Okay, so he was the first one they interviewed.
I also think it's funny that, so Damien's the guy who found the body. Mm-hmm. They interview him first, and then they never talk to him again until the end of the book. But I feel like the person who finds the body is like one of the prime suspects in any murder case.
I don't know.
Like from the get-go.
And I mean, you also have the big twist being that, what's Damien's motive? Oh, well, he was basically manipulated into it by the victim's older sister, who turns out to be a raging psychopath, and that's the big twist. And
there's a whole thing where she doesn't get her comeuppance because
Not really.
some legal that's never alluded to
yes.
ever before in the book. Just unsatisfying. There were plots left off. The plots that we did have were not concluded satisfactorily. I'm trying to think of the right word.
That's fair though. Like, and I think the whole arc that you were expecting with Detective Ryan, it just kind of fizzles at the end.
Yeah.
Because his punishment for basically not mentioning that, hey, I'm that child that showed up with blood in my shoes 20 years ago. I've been going by my middle name, and oh, that's actually me, and oh, that case might be connected to that one. His punishment is basically, hey, you're still on the murder squad, but you have to go to a different building and do paperwork for the rest of your life. So it kind of fizzles. He and Cassie basically never talk to each other again.
Cassie and Sam get married for some reason.
Yeah.
That, again, there's not a single spark between them the entire book.
The most that I will give them is that I think...
They were a man and a woman.
Yeah, and it looked like Sam was interested in her, but obviously was not going to make a move because she and Ryan were clearly a thing.
If there was any payoff on any of it, I would have given it a higher rating, but there just isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Was this her first book?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
So, I'd give the author another shot, because I can see that those exact things, the things we've just said, hopefully she learned the lessons and improved on with her next books.
Yeah.
Which I assume she did.
The other one of her books that I have read, I believe it was called The Searcher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much later. It's probably several years later. So she probably had several books to write. I appreciated that one more because it's about a retired American detective who decides to retire to Ireland, buys a little cottage, and that's going to be his retirement plan. It's like, I'm going to fix up this little cottage. And basically this little kid is asking for his help. And he doesn't want to be involved. But it's him begrudgingly being like, oh, it's a child, I need to help. And then realizing that he does not know how things work in Ireland. Like socially, police-wise, he doesn't have any jurisdiction anymore. He doesn't have a gun because he's in Ireland. Like, it's him struggling to adjust and figure out, how do I do my job that I did for all these years in a new place, in a new environment, without the tools and support that I'm used to having.
Sure.
That was way more interesting.
Yeah.
Less police procedural by a long shot. So give her other books a try.
Not this one. I don't know. If you really like mysteries and just need another one to fill the void for a second, go for it.
She's written a lot of other ones, though, and it is a fairly popular author, so...
I feel like most authors don't think their first book is their best one, so...
I mean...
I'm glad she's, written more and been successful, though.
Yes.
Good for her.
I mean, there is a lot of that. There's police procedurals.
Sure.
There is a lot set in Ireland. I don't know if she's from there or just lives there, but...
No, she's French.
Anyway, we're gonna stop talking about this book now. Yeah. And talk about, what do you have to recommend? Because I know you have multiple things, possibly.
Well, I only have one. I'm only doing one.
Oh, okay.
So, this past week, I have watched the 2024 version of The Crow. It's a remake of a 1994 cult classic starring Brandon Lee. Famously, he died on set of that movie. It's very good. The original is a very fun movie. It's that 90s, angsty sci-fi fantasy kind of superhero stuff based off of a comic book. And in 2024, they remade it with Bill Skarsgård as the titular Crow. It is probably one of the worst movies I've seen in the past 5 years, and I had a great time watching it. I hate watching a movie. This movie was so bad. It's a collection of scenes that were done better in literally any other movie. There's a point where there's a 2-minute long scene where he's just walking down the sidewalk with angsty nu metal playing in the background and a crow, very badly CGI'd crow flying around. That's not true. The CGI was pretty decent. All credit to the artists who worked on it, not the writers and not the executives who ruined it. But yeah, absolutely garbage movie. Terrible action scenes. You've seen these fight scenes before. Some of the angstiest nonsense. So the plot of The Crow, guy, angsty rocker boy, girlfriend gets killed in front of him and he dies. And then he comes back to enact vengeance as the Crow.
Mm-hmm.
One of the lines as he's going through this transformation into the Crow process is he's meeting this kind of mentor character in the afterlife. And he's like, sometimes somebody sees something that's just so sad that they can't really die. And that's almost word for word the line. Oh, it's so bad. And let me tell you, 14-year-old Anty would have loved it.
I mean, who are you kidding? You loved it now.
Yeah, that's different. I would have unironically loved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did text me repeatedly as you were watching it with such joy.
Oh, it was so great.
You're like, oh my gosh, they just said this. This is the most incel thing.
There's a point where he's about to go on like to the climactic fight scene, which again, that fight scene, it's one of the ones with the opera singer in the background, and they're like not even trying to choreograph it to the music. Done better in The Fifth Element. But before he gets in that, he's suiting up and he puts on his black and white Joker makeup. And he's in like a cool jacket because every angsty male protagonist needs a cool jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks up a random katana and just like points it at the mirror, looking at himself with it, being like, I'm so cool. I have a sword. While you were talking to girls, I studied the blade. And it's like at no point in this movie is it ever like addressed that he might be even close to a weeb or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's also my favorite part of the movie. So he dies because he truly dies because his love was not pure enough, and he makes a deal with the afterlife guy that no, I'll go to hell if my girlfriend can come back when I kill this guy. And the guy's like, deal. And he emerges from this new deal more ripped than he's ever been in this entire movie. And all of a sudden he's got John Wick levels accuracy to shoot all these guys. I love it. I just see this should explain when I'm hating a book, like it doesn't necessarily mean I didn't enjoy reading it. This one I didn't enjoy, but
so if you want to hate watch a movie,
so good,
The Crow,
so bad, love it.
Conversely, if you like Star Trek, any of them, I'd like to actually highly recommend The Orville, which came out 2017 through 2022, something like that.
I think so.
I mean, it's Seth MacFarlane, so I associate him with Family Guy, and I don't normally appreciate his style of humor, but The Orville is perfect. Yes, it's kind of sitcom-y at times because it is a more humorous take on what life would actually be like if you lived on a USS Starship 400 whatever years in the future. But you've got your motley crew, different races from all over the galaxy, lots of cultural conflict because of that. All the comedy that comes from that as well.
I also think it does a very, I know I've said this to you, how it's like the best new Star Trek show.
Yes.
100% is. Because yes, there's a lot of comedy with that, with these are wildly different creatures with wildly different cultures. Because of that, things are going to get weird. Yeah, let's laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are still those moments, like in the original Star Trek, where through all the sci-fi nonsense, there were those very poignant moments and points made through the show.
Yes, like it's not just a sitcom. I would classify it more of like a family dramedy kind of thing.
Sure.
Because you do have a lot of very serious moments and mixed in with the comical ones. It feels to me way more human than any other Star Trek shows that I have seen, because it is so focused on the individual characters and their relationships with each other. Yes, there's existential threats or cool new planets or whatever, but that is a vehicle for the character development and relationships.
Yeah.
It makes Star Trek so much better. I
think it does because when writing comedy, there's kind of two main ways you can do it, like specifically with the show. You can either write insane people in the normal world, and an example of that would be like Family Guy, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Community, The Office, that's that kind of stuff, where it's like these weird people in the normal world. Or you can have normal people in a bizarre world. And I think The Orville is one of the best versions of normal people in a bizarre world. A lot of it does feel like the conversations that I would have with my guy buddy if I were piloting a starship.
Yes.
Like it's nonsense and it's stupid, but that is human.
Yes. Or they're sitting there on a new planet as they're poking around, scanning for whatever. And they're talking about, one of them just got into a new relationship and are working through like relationship struggles, talking with their buddy about that. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's very human and a much more real take on what it would be like living on a starship.
All right, this month we talked about Tana French's In the Woods. I recommended The Crow. You recommended The Orville.
Yes.
What are we doing next month?
Next month is September, and that is Banned Books Month.
Getting arrested.
So we've decided that banned books are a genre.
Yes.
And we are going to read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. I'm sure you are familiar with the story, but basically it's a dystopia set in future America where certain women are basically sex slaves to reproduce and try and help the declining population.
This seems like a really happy book. It just seems full of joy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's currently a show based on it on Hulu that I've heard is wildly popular and also very heavy, as you would
naturally
guess.
Yeah.
So join us next month as we read a classic banned book, The Handmaid's Tale.
Farewell.
Until next time.